Mind Mode, baby! Welcome to the podcast!
Welcome to the podcast. It's called Mind Mode.
It's the one and only podcast where you're going to get in Mind Mode featuring me, your host, Matthew, along with other hosts,
Michael.
And Stanlin.
Boom. That part was the same. This is the second time we're trying to record this, guys.
This is the first podcast we've had to start over.
Besides the part where we started over the entire idea of the podcast when we switched from Dark Nights to Mind Mode.
Yeah, it was really hard doing a 100
We're
episode
still in
podcast.
an experimental phase.
I want to do a
That's true.
100 episode cast about the Dark Knight.
Yeah, we're going to get back to that at some point. Mind Mode is going to end, and then we're going to go back. We're going to re-listen to the first episode of Dark Nights and actually fulfill the promises we made before we ruined the movie and podcast for ourselves by talking about it for like 6 hours or whatever we did.
What's that podcast where those guys watched...
Worst idea of all time.
Worst idea of all time. What? Grown Ups.
They watched Grown Ups 2, then they watched Sex and the City 2.
I can't fathom doing that.
Then they watched We Are Your Friends, the Zac Efron EDM movie.
Oh, that looks good.
And they're coming back for another season to watch Sex and the City 1. So, that's a different podcast, though. That's not the one you're listening to.
I want to up the ante.
Okay.
We're going to watch The Dark Knight every day.
Uh-huh. That's like a pretty sizable commitment.
Yeah, that's like...
I'm committed. What do you think I'm doing after this?
That's a part-time job. You're going to watch The Dark Knight
It's going to be full-time for me.
Okay, what are you going to do in your other, 6 hours you have, or 5 hours?
Rewatch it.
So you're gonna watch The Dark Knight for 8 hours straight a day, or for 40 hours a week at least.
Jesus.
What do you think is the...
I think you might get a little crazy like some of the characters in that film.
Yeah, who's in that penguin?
Yeah.
I think... Wait, do you want me to look it up?
Tux guy?
Jack Nicholson.
Is it Jack Nicholson?
Yeah, I think it's Freeze to Meet You.
Okay. Do we have any rants this week, boys?
I got a rant.
What's that?
It's not really a rant, merely a qualm. It's about punctuality.
Okay.
You know, some people, they say, hey, I'm good with starting this event at 7 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
Clock starts ticking. Tick, tick, tick. Gets to be about, 6:55. 7 doesn't work for me anymore.
So it was like 6:45.
Nah, I'm not splitting hairs here.
I think that's... Well, okay.
Let's say it was 7:05.
I think that's reasonable because it's sort of a baker's 7, if you think about it.
What does that even mean? Anyways.
It's one more, bonus.
This isn't a real rant.
Actually, I do have a kind of rant.
I just want to point out Stanlin didn't have any recording software ready for when we started recording the cast. He didn't have any recording software downloaded. And I thought that was really funny.
It's pretty good. This is, the state of things. Sailor, you said you had... What's
a
up?
rant related to punctuality, related to school. So, for some reason...
If the teacher's 5 minutes late, you don't have class that day, right?
No. Well, yeah, that's true. But for some reason, my teacher decided on the last day of class, she hadn't mentioned anything the entire semester.
Uh-oh.
And then,
This is about attendance?
Yes. Or not attendance, turning something in. So we had these weekly reflection things that we were supposed to turn in. And on the syllabus it says if you don't turn one in, you fail the class.
Uh-huh.
But she never says anything. Like if someone doesn't show up, if someone doesn't turn one in, she doesn't say anything if it's late. There's no policy about it being late on the syllabus. I've turned in many things late because I don't like deadlines because my brain doesn't work that way.
You're sort of a free spirit.
Yes.
We like live lines.
Well, I just can't do it. I can't make a deadline.
You can't flatline, Stan.
I can make a deadline 30 minutes after it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You'll give him half a baker's deadline. And not a
so pretty much all of my papers are late. And then she's like, this last day of class, she's like, oh, if it's late, I'm taking off points. And it's stupid.
And this is retroactively true for everything you've turned in this semester?
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh,
Stanlin is the ultimate negotiator. So,
elaborate on that.
Somebody wrote a book, The Art of the Deal. Stanlin's book is going to be called The Art of the Negotiation. You want this to be at 7 p.m.? I'm pushing it back to 7:30. You want 2 eggs, 2 slices of bacon? I'm giving you 1 egg, 1 slice of bacon. I'm eating them in front of you. Stanlin always scrapes a bit off the top for himself.
Why do teachers care? Like, why do, especially in graduate school, like, what difference does it make?
That's pretty wild for a grad school.
Right? Like, why do you care? If it's late, if you didn't turn it in, it doesn't matter.
You haven't, given proper tribute to your teacher.
Definitely not grad school.
Okay.
The authority of the class. If you can't even listen to the words of the syllabus, how does the professor know you're listening to anything that's going on in the class and absorbing it?
It doesn't matter. Because you're at the end of the day, especially in the humanities, it shouldn't matter because at the end of the day, all that matters is like the final paper.
Yeah,
because that's the only
humanities. Thing. That's what you're going to be saying when you see the grade you got in the class.
Oh,
true. Maybe that's why she did it. Yeah.
The only humanities Stanlin's studying are those cute fellow students in the class.
Guys, if you've listened this far into the podcast, this first 5 minutes we've recorded, you will know. Unfortunately, the podcast is bad.
Yeah.
We talked a lot about this on the last episode.
We suck.
It wasn't going so well, and we thought we were dragging it back up throughout the course of the last episode, but I'm not sure we entirely did.
It's probably because we pretty much wing it.
I'm not gonna lie. I think the worse we get, the better the podcast gets. Okay. I've enjoyed it.
Well, I'm still trying to drag this up. Okay, I'm still trying to drag our ratings up, and
I'm trying to drag them down.
Our quality up. Well, listen, Michael, you got to play along.
Look,
here.
You're the only one with the Yeti mic.
I've got some. Yeah, it's true. I'm gonna have to buy all you guys blue snowballs if we want this to work. Okay. So I've in the course of doing some research on how to improve a podcast, I've stumbled upon some strategies. Namely, Brian Eno's oblique strategies.
Yeah.
Are you guys familiar with these?
Is this where he lets the computer play the music, make the music?
No, it's a deck of cards Brian Eno made and printed, where you draw a card and it tells you something to try to improve your project.
Okay.
But
he made the deck of cards.
Version.
So it's like a Magic 8-Ball.
It's like a Magic 8-Ball, but for making perfect art.
Okay.
Which is what I want this art. Yeah, I want this podcast to ideally be perfect art. So here, I'm going to just go ahead and click. There's a website version of this, and I'm going to draw us a new card, and we're going to try to employ this.
Okay.
Okay, so this one I just drew says...
Wait. I can predict it. Queen of Hearts.
Okay. No, it's not... Okay, I see what you're doing. No, it's a different... It's not those kinds of cards.
Wait, are you actually linking this?
Am I linking it?
Yeah.
I mean, I can, but I think... What, do we each get a card? Is that what we're going to do? I was just going to give us a couple cards here off the top.
Okay, yeah, do
for
that.
all of us to obey.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so the first one says, use an old idea.
Oh.
Now, I'm not...
We did it.
Currently, we are using an old idea, so I think we're already...
Yes.
We fulfilled this one, so we're like, what? I'd say we're like 1% of the way to perfection.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get a new one. Okay, state the problem in words as clearly as possible, is what this one says. Okay, so the problem is the podcast sounds bad to listen to based on the words,
the sonic quality,
the sounds that you hear in it is how I would. That's the clearest I can say.
I think the hosts are the main problem.
The hosts they suck. They're really bad, and
So
they're
how do
not
we-
getting
except
any
for
better.
one of them. One of them's good.
Who?
Which one is that?
Not gonna say.
Okay, I'm gonna click and get us a new card here. We need to. I think if we just keep stacking these strategies on top of each other, it should only make the art better. Am I right?
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, this one says disciplined self-indulgence. Now,
What?
that
We might not be doing this one.
I think. Well, I disagree. I think that might be the entire what this podcast is.
Well, the disciplined part.
Disciplined. We could work on discipline.
I'm.
Self-indulgence, we're pretty much blasting through the roof on that part.
Yeah.
Discipline, we could use a little more of.
So we're 1 out of 3.
All right, should I do another one?
Yeah, do
Nah.
another one.
Or go ahead.
Okay, Michael says no, so here we go. This one says reverse. Hey, yeah, real boys, boy, not server, about the fun. All right, so we tried that one out. I don't know about that.
Yeah, that
Hey, Missy Elliott did it.
sounded like a conversation in the red
Missy,
room.
Missy did it better. Okay. All right, and here's our final card. This one says breathe more deeply. I
We've
think
done all of these.
we've done all this.
You're right. Yeah.
Brian, what the fuck, Brian? Did Brian Eno listen to Mind Mode before he made these? I want to stress for the audience, I legitimately did draw all these cards.
Wow. I actually
mean-
thought you handpicked them.
No, via the website. I'm not kidding. Okay.
Here's
Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna link you guys to this website. Let's all draw our own personal last card and try to focus on
Okay.
that for the rest of the episode. So
Okay.
don't look at what it says when it comes up. Just pick a new card. So we're gonna all
Click here
use
for
our
a
full.
pick.
Okay, so Michael, what'd you draw?
Question the heroic approach.
Okay, that's interesting.
Hmm.
Heroic
I like
approach.
that idea.
That's open for interpretation.
Yeah, whenever I get on the cast, I'm thinking about how can I be the hero in this cast.
But this
How
is
can-
question that.
Yeah, I never question
Right.
it. So now I'm okay. The thing is, we've been trying to be good,
Right.
and we suck.
Okay, so what you're
So
saying
let's just
is,
let's just suck,
right.
and that's questioning the approach. Okay.
So to you,
Yeah,
this sort of means try a villainous approach almost.
Yeah,
a
I'm like-
scoundrels approach.
I'm like a goblin.
Because to
You're
me,
a
I think
scoundrel.
to me, I think I would have said like question what we hold as good in our society or something like that. But you're saying go goblin. So Michael's gonna go goblin for the rest of this podcast, which I don't think should be an issue for him, to be honest. Stanley, what does your card say?
Accept advice.
Okay, so if I had to give
Well-
Stanley
You got it.
accept advice,
It's a very
Michael, do we have any advice for Stanley?
I think you should go goblin.
Okay, so we got two goblins possibly here. All right, now I'm gonna read out what my card legitimately says. I want to stress I did not pick these beforehand. Okay, so here's what my card says: go outside, shut the door. Okay, bye guys.
All right, see you later. All right, well, we're only gonna have 2 hosts on this cast, 2 of which are gonna be goblins.
Look, I'm only accepting advice
Okay,
this entire cast.
Stan, you're good the way you are. You don't need. I don't have any recommendations.
That's good advice. Yeah, thank you.
Speaking of advice, I actually have something. Matthew, are you back?
Oh my god.
I know the sound of Matt's
He's
door.
out.
He
He
legit
left.
left his apartment.
Did I do anything good? I mean, did you guys say anything good?
Yeah, we
You did.
Did I do
heroic.
anything?
we got a 2-man cast going now.
We're actually.
Alright.
It might have gotten better.
So speaking of advice, I've got some advice for our audience.
Sure.
Go ahead and email us at
please
mindmodepodcast@gmail.com. Literally send us anything.
Yeah, we're dying here, guys.
Send us our whole podcast revenue is based on the amount of emails we receive in some fashion.
This is the goblin approach for sure. I don't know.
That's not true, don't worry.
Oh boy.
We have a free Gmail account. We don't even have access to
we don't even
Google Forms. There's no Drive. There's no YouTube. There's nothing.
It's not even a paid account, guys. It's free.
I paid for my... I'm not going to go there. Anyways, what y'all want to write in this week on the Gmail is, what kind of style do you usually adopt each day? Do you adopt a hipster style? Are you a greaser? Are you a SoundCloud kid? Are you a scene kid? I want us to go around the room and talk about our own personal style for a second. So, Stanley, what's yours?
Pretty much jeans every day and whatever shirt I possess.
Okay.
Wow.
And sometimes a jacket if it's cold.
It's a stance style.
Okay.
All right, Matt, what do we got?
I would say sort of a tech ninja streetwear meets, the type of thing you'd see on reddit.com/r/male fashion or whatever it is. So I'm wearing skinny jeans, a shirt. I'm wearing a jacket every day.
So you're trying to dress like all the Chads out there.
Well, I don't know if you've been on that subreddit, but I don't know if that's the exact term I would use.
Your black hat hacker garb.
I legitimately received a black hat in the mail today.
Really?
Yeah, I did. I got one in the mail.
What does that mean?
Who's it from?
I mean, I ordered a black hat, and it arrived today. It's the Oh Yeah Dude cactus hat.
Never seen it.
Nice. I've never seen you wear a hat.
I've never worn a hat, but I ordered this. I ordered this hat when I got it in my head that I was possibly going to shave my head, and I might need to cover my head.
You're going to shave your head?
Well, I didn't do that, and it took like 3 weeks for the hat to get here, so...
I'm thinking about doing a shave.
It's like floating in the wind, like one of those Western
Maybe it's
cartoons.
all shave December.
Yeah.
I'm on the Oh Yeah Dude merch page right now.
Yeah, you like the hat? I like
good.
the design of it.
Yeah.
So my personal style, when I
Michael, what's your personal style?
I want to go around the room. I walk down to my dresser. I open my closet door, and I go through my variety of jackets, my many leather belts, my ties from
We're building up to it, guys.
distant lands, and I usually just go with the same thing. Oppa Gangnam Style.
Jesus Christ. Oh my god, this goblin cast.
I don't know what you're talking about. A lot of people.
I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but I think Brian Eno has really helped this podcast.
Yeah.
Already I'm hearing it. I don't want to, count my eggs before they hatch here, but... Okay.
I got a lot of... I've been wearing some new clothes to my class. I was wearing them today. Got some new joggers last week, and I wore them, and my classmate, who I never talked to, said,
nice
Gangnam Style.
All right. And I'm sure that came out, that was the most natural thing in the world to say.
Yeah.
Nice Gangnam Style.
I still don't know what it means. Anyways.
Well, as long as you're embodying it and other people are recognizing it, sometimes it doesn't matter what it means.
Exactly.
Folks, there comes a time in every podcast where we have to transition into the real thing we planned on talking about. And guess what? It's here.
We can't just be toppings. We gotta have some meat in there too.
It's not all... you might have thought this was... You've been eating a meal...
Toppings on meat?
Alright, I'll let me back that. When you're ordering like a pizza on Domino's, you can't just be like, oh, mushrooms, onions, olives, pepperonis.
Yeah, you gotta
get
pizza.
the pizza.
You have
the bread,
to.
the cheese.
I think you literally have to.
You
I was gonna say you might have thought you were eating a meal, but this is only an aperitif. And the entree is about to come out.
Sometimes when I cook for my my friends of high class say, "Oh, where'd you get these onions? Oh, these green peppers. Delicious." I just go, Domino's. Papa John's.
They say better ingredients. I don't trust them on the better pizza, but the better ingredients part, you've already locked me in, so I'm ordering. I'm already on the website when I hear that part.
Pizzagate 2.0.
Okay, and with that, on that note, I'm cutting this off, and we're going to talk about the real topic, which, Stanley, you want to intro this? As usual, you were the one who came with a good thing in mind to talk about. What brought today's topic du jour to mind?
So, I have to move. Or wait, I don't have to move. I made a decision not to move.
You're in the witness protection... Okay, no.
No, I could have moved. Because my lease was expiring. And it's a very difficult process for me whenever I have to move, because I think of so many things about the place that you... I guess it spawned, and always spawns, thinking on the place where you live,
right,
and the environment around which you live in, and how that affects your life.
You gotta knock on every door on the street, see if you like the neighbors.
I mean, that's the problem, is you can't do that. So
that's true.
Whatever...
You can't.
Yeah, the goblin might be able to do such a thing.
Alright, hold on. My name's Michael.
Yeah. Okay, sorry.
No goblin.
Well,
Go ahead, Stan.
Goblin is as goblin does.
Well, okay, so anyway, the topic is just the places... Actually, somebody else should say what it is.
So we're here to talk about what we like in a place to live, both, regarding the actual physical dwelling, and also, the geography, what's around it, the environment you're seeing when you step out the front door.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And beyond.
So, I like to start with a good foundation. Make sure the walls are solid.
Michael.
Well, maybe I should just...
Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Stan.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Maybe I should just say what my thinking process was this time. I decided to stay in this same place. I've been living here. This is the longest time I've lived in the same place in 6 years, I think.
So
like every year.
I'm not up to date. Are you lived in this a previous year?
It's been 1 year.
For 6 years.
No. So in the past 6 years, every year I have moved to another place, mainly because I was in college for 4 of them. But in the other 2, I was just moving around. And yeah, so this is the first time I'm in a place for a long period of time, or longer. It's not really that long, it's just another 6 months I'll probably be gone. But I think when you're young, it's fun to move around.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Like, you get to see a bunch of shit. And then you also get to figure out, like, here's the shit that I like, in the place that I live in. Like, I lived in a bunch of shitty apartments when I was in college, and it went, and even here, when I got here, and I think I'm slowly settling into, like, here is kind of what I need in a place, both in the place and, you know, whatever is around it. And honestly, the place that I'm in is not perfect because the place itself is good because it's a 1-1. I like the feel of it. It's like not too big, not too expensive, but the environment around this place is kind of, there's nothing really here. You can't really walk to anything. There's not, you have to drive anywhere to, like, get to something interesting.
Do you have a bike?
I don't. I only have a car. Dallas is cool because it has, I'm in Dallas. It's cool because it has a train system that kind of goes downtown and then, like, up north. So you can take that. So that's cool. But yeah, it's not ideal. And that was kind of what I was actually thinking. So there's two extremes, I think. I think one extreme, at least in my mind, is like you are in, you know, like the city, kind of where you live, Matthew, more or less. Like you're in the city, you're around things that are interesting.
Right. Do we want to talk about our current living environments?
Yeah, maybe that would be good.
Or I don't know.
Yeah, maybe you guys should just say where you live, and then we can talk about it.
How about,
all right, so here's my street address, and I'm just going to
Yeah.
tell you this and go on Google Street View.
Come over.
you go first, Matt.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. I'm going to make a guesstimate here. I'm going to say about at least 10% of the people listening, which is very generous, have been to where I live.
That might be like a tenth of a person.
Good point. Look, so
It's either
I mean,
100% or 0% to our one listener out there.
I live. My situation is I live by myself. I rent, not an apartment, I guess technically, but like a condo. It's just outside of the more like downtowny segment. It's in a sort of it's in a historical neighborhood, kind of trendy area.
Yeah.
I'm feeling like I'm giving away way too much about the place. Well, not necessarily. That could describe a number of
4
places.
million people in Houston.
Yeah, I think you'll
we're
be
okay.
fine.
Yeah, I'm in Houston. So,
Wait,
yeah,
where?
that's kind of that. What?
Nothing. Go ahead.
I'm on the 4th floor. Walk up. It's number 116. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I don't know. That's my situation.
Yeah,
That's general situation.
You live. I like your area, Matt. I don't know if I'd live there, but it's a lot of great restaurants, a lot of great bars.
Yeah.
It's good access to all that stuff, and I don't walk as much as I would like, but you could walk from where I live to basically anything you would need.
Right. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Well, I live with my 2 roommates, mom and dad.
It's okay. You're living. Look. You're in school.
I live in a house.
Exactly.
I live in a house with some other people living in it.
Do you like the area you live in?
I love the area I live in. I have finals this week, and I'm studying for finals, and I needed a little study break, so I went outside and walked around, and my neighborhood is very nice. Very nice. And this is a very nice time of year. It's very sunny out. Leaves are falling off the tree.
Oh yeah, they just started, finally.
Snow,
December 5th.
Snow is trickling to the ground.
I don't know about that.
I've seen snowballs and
lava, magma is flowing.
Yeah, there was
along the
fissure in the earth.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Beautiful.
but
It's a nice neighborhood.
Yeah.
as I'm taking my strolls, there's a little park, maybe like 2 blocks from my house, which is really pretty. It's I'm very gifted to be living here.
Yeah, especially, I mean, goblins don't usually get to live in that neighborhood.
Yeah, it was a whole Stuart Little situation of My family, this is what happens. So my family had my sister, and they were like, I think it's time to adopt. We already have one child. Let's go ahead and, let's give back to the world. Let's adopt a child. So they went to the orphanage, and they gazed upon all these beautiful human children.
Right.
And they were like, hey, these are just like us. We should probably get one of these. But over in the corner, little goblin.
All by himself.
Hobbling around. I was eating lint off the floor.
Pulling pieces of cardboard up off little corrugated furniture and shoving it up your nose, I think you said.
All the humans around me had plates and silverware. I had a dog bowl that I was just walking around with.
He had a kick me posted on his back.
What?
Go ahead.
Kick me sign on your back.
So my parents were like, I really want to get a human, but that goblin looks pretty good too. Kind of like the parents of Stuart Little.
Sounds like they're gonna eat you. Want that goblin?
I feel like the parents of Stuart Little went to the orphanage and they're like, don't get a mouse, don't get a mouse, don't get a mouse, don't get a mouse. Fuck, we got a mouse.
This is something I forgot. I've read Stuart Little, but I recently read online, someone reminded me, in Stuart Little, the mouse is born from the mother.
Nuh-uh.
Yes.
Yeah?
What?
He is a human. He's just is a mouse.
Yeah, well think about
then
it,
he's
Matthew.
not a human.
Go to the NICU of a hospital, go to the OBGYN, you see mice crawling all over the place. Where do you think those came from?
I would hope you don't. But okay, sorry.
Okay.
So yeah, this is an idea of where we live, just so as a baseline.
Yeah, so Matthew lives... I guess you kind of both... Well... I guess Michael doesn't live in the suburbs. Anyway, I think the two extremes are kind of like...
I live in like a suburb inside the loop. It's like a suburb close to the city, I would say.
Yeah, you're still close though.
Close to downtown.
I would define the area I live in as a suburb too, but...
Really? I wouldn't define that as a suburb.
In a technical sense. It's not, it's not
the suburbs.
Sure.
Okay,
I guess you're right. Anyway.
So these were the two places that I was kind of looking at. I was looking at one place that was like really far from the city, and then the one place that was really close. And then the differences between those two usually, at least in my experience, is that the suburb place is a lot more space, a lot quieter, and usually cheaper for the amount of space you get, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But you don't get, like, the stuff.
Yeah, you make up for it in drive times and sort of general culture.
Yeah, lack of culture, lack of...
Yeah.
A lot of people in Houston live out in like the Woodlands or Katy or Cypress and work downtown, and it's like a 2-hour commute, and I don't know how they do it.
And also just like complete vapidity. That's a little harsh. Like there's no, at least where I was looking, there's no life.
I know
you're just
saying.
It's there in your room, and then you have to leave to find something.
Right. So when I was thinking about this episode coming into it, I was thinking about. So I know the kinds of places I like to live in, or I would prefer to live. Generally, are sort of like where I'm living now, where it's like, it's not downtown necessarily, but it's kind of close. Mm-hmm. There's access to, all the major stuff you would want to do, restaurants, bars, blah blah blah. But and like also thinking about what I don't like, and to me something important is just being able to just like walk out the front door and kind of feel like you're already there, or like you're close to just whatever it is you want to do. Yeah. And also, I like density.
Yes.
I like, I like being overloaded with sort of, symbols, you know, being able to go outside and see new things or like have things close to me that I haven't discovered yet, even though I've been living here a while, as opposed to previous places where I've lived, or, you know, places I've been to where it's sort of, you know, you're outside and you're just next to a bunch of
trees,
more or less the same houses, you know, fast food places.
Yeah,
same things you
it's
see
like a little,
anywhere.
it's quiet. Yeah. Yeah, I think...
I hope I don't come off as too much of a snob here, but, you know, that's just...
Yeah. I think I feel the same way, like that's my...
Matt's living in the New York of Houston.
That's not really true.
No, I'm playing.
But I think that's kind of my ideal also. That's why, like, where I'm living now, it's not a quiet place. It's literally right off the, like, major freeway. So it's not quiet. There's, like, cars always going by. So I really need noise. Like, I used to live with my aunt who lives in, like, this mansion in, like, the middle of nowhere, and it got so quiet, and it is very uncomfortable for me to live in a place that's that quiet. So I need, like, people talking, like, cars going by. Yeah, I need, like you said, like, noise or density or whatever that, like,
Yeah. I wonder, that's interesting you bring it up about the sound, because where I, like, spent at least half of my childhood when I lived with my parents, my bedroom was literally, like, you know, there's houses across the street, and then there's just a major freeway, like, right there. So I constantly had the sounds of cars going by as I'm, like, going to sleep and everything. It's almost like the, you know, the ocean or something.
Yeah.
There's just constant white noise, and I guess I do value that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm kind of in the, I don't know, the opposite.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear from you, Michael.
So I've lived in the Loop.
Yeah.
I moved to Houston when I was 6. I moved from New Jersey. I've lived in the Loop basically most of my life, and I'm just now at the point as an adult where I really would like a change. Like Stanlin's, can I say what part of Houston it's in? You fine with that?
What, my home?
Your home, your parents' home.
Yeah.
So Stanlin's home is in Sugarland, and it's a suburb with wide streets.
It's a suburb, like.
It's like, it's technically its own city, but it's...
Yeah, that's kind of how Houston
it's like
operates.
the greater Houston area.
It's just a collection of different cities.
Yeah, most people who live there work in Houston.
Yes.
Or a lot of them.
They commute to downtown. My city, I guess, my actual, like, neighborhood is a city. It's a municipality. It has, like, its own police station, fire station, etc. I don't think it was planned to be a super busy area. There's a very nice public school nearby. It'd be a great place to raise a family, I guess. But I'm definitely not at that stage in my life. But there's a lot of traffic. It's very busy. It's very difficult to get down the road even, because I don't think it was just planned to be this as industrious or busy of an area. It's constantly under construction. It's very loud, mostly during the day. The evenings and weekends, it is just idyllic. It's pretty much perfect. But pretty much wherever I want to go, and this could just be like in general for Houston, there's going to be traffic. Just like getting out of my area, there's a lot of traffic. Getting into my area, there's a lot of traffic. I'm probably going to go through like 3 or 4 school zones, whichever way I'm going to go.
Which is, I mean, it's partially, I mean, that's just like sort of a Houston problem, is we don't have good public transportation, and we have basically no zoning laws. And it's crazy, like the place I lived before here, and before I was at my parents' house for a little bit in between, was off of a major road, but not like directly next to any kind of major freeway or roadway.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, even though it felt like I was sort of in the thick of everything, it took so long just to get on the freeway to get where you're going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because think of how many stoplights you hit before you even get to 59. Like, even from your old house. Like, I'm like, when I was driving to your parents' house, I'd be like, okay, I go down 59, go down Bel Air. Like, in my mind, I was like, oh, it's a relatively short trip, but, like, pretty much getting anywhere in Houston is, like, I don't know, 25 to 40 minutes.
Yeah, that's true.
That's just normal drive time. Mm-hmm. And yeah, public transportation is lacking in this city. But even your area, Matt, or at least your parents' house, I don't feel like it was that busy in terms of traffic. Or there at least no...
You mean like within the neighborhood?
Yeah.
No, not really.
Yeah.
Only when people were driving by to fire their guns in the air.
Yeah, that's a...
Just kidding.
That's a downside. We should definitely tell that story on the podcast.
Yeah,
sometime.
we'll tell it another time.
But yeah, I'm looking for a change. I'm looking to get out of Houston eventually. So
this so this topic, when Stalin brought it up, it caught my interest, partially because I know I have my own opinions about these things, but also because I'm curious about what you would look for, because you've been talking a lot recently about the sort of the suburbs in Houston, maybe wanting to live there.
Yeah.
Or
so I don't know. I don't really know what I want, because it's not too it's not a decision I have to make in the very near future. It's not something I really have to think about. I also don't want to set any expectations for myself. For our listeners out there, I'm transitioning between careers. So, I went to my friend from high school's house. I'll just say, yes, his name's Ben. He listens to the podcast. And he listens...
Hi, Ben.
Hi, Ben.
Hello, Ben.
He lives in a nice neighborhood, just like... It's really odd. Like, there's these neighborhoods just off of Westheimer. So, for those who don't live in Houston, Westheimer's like a main artery that runs through Houston that pretty much has, like, nonstop restaurants and shops running from downtown Houston to I don't even know where. Like
really far out.
Miles and miles of... It's a busy street.
Basically to Sugarland, I mean.
Yeah, it's
far out.
Maybe one of the busiest streets in Westheimer. If you're not taking the freeway or the tollway, then you might be using Westheimer to get out to, like, Sugarland. So he lives in a nice neighborhood, just, like, pretty much one turn from Westheimer. Like, you make a turn in, like, 2 minutes, you're into his neighborhood. It takes, like, 5 minutes from Westheimer to get to his street. And it's awesome. Like, that... I didn't even know, like, places like that in Houston existed. I don't even think that would be, like, an ideal situation for me. I think I would like to live somewhere like... Or I brought that up because I didn't know just, like, quiet neighborhoods existed near, like, such busy streets in Houston. But, I don't know, just something like Sugarland, there's no billboards. Katy, that's such a stupid thing to bring up. Cities like Sugarland or Katy just seem like something that would be kind of my pace of living. Like, it's just kind of toned down. It's a little slower. You don't have as much in your face in terms of, like, advertising. I don't know. I don't foresee myself working in downtown Houston, but if I had to make, like, an 1.5 to 2 hour commute, I probably wouldn't live out there. But ideally, I would at least like to give one of those, like, peripheral cities a try in Houston.
Well, Sugarland, I mean, I grew up there. It's like consumerist heaven, whatever. Like,
yeah, but it's like it's not as dense, I guess.
That's true. Yeah.
It's not as, or at least Katy. I'm kind of biased because I've been to Katy more in the past, like, more times in like the past 2 months than I've been in my life, and I was like, wow, this is like the coolest place in the world. I don't know, it has its own mall, has an Alamo Draft House. It was just nice.
Yeah, I guess maybe because you grew up in Houston and I grew up in the suburbs. Maybe we're just tired of like the opposite thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine living any closer to downtown. I couldn't imagine living in Montrose.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't think I could ever live in a suburb, like in a house in the suburbs or anything like that.
Right. Ideally, I would not either. I don't know.
Sometimes
I mean, that's not to say I wouldn't live in like a small town. Just like
right.
There's something about. I mean, if it's like an old town, that's different. Like it has to have some like cultural things stuck in it for me.
Right.
Like it just can't be like this thing that just popped up, kind of how Sugarland popped up.
Yeah, like something I've noticed is so I went to college in Austin, Texas, which is, a lot of people consider sort of like a high cultural, capital of the U.S. sort of. I mean, of the South of Texas, but it's like Portland or one of these sort of mid-sized cities,
one of the like
Athens,
music
Georgia.
capitals. Yeah.
Right, and so there's lots of trendy sort of restaurants and things there, and I living there for 4 years, going to college there, I kind of got sick of all that stuff. But what I've noticed is living here in Houston, and I have sort of in both the jobs I've worked here, I've had sort of the opposite commutes of what people usually have, where I'm like sort of in the city going out to these more suburban areas.
Okay.
A lot of these places are getting sort of built up more to entice people like me to want to live there, and a lot of them are getting, the exact restaurants that were like the super trendy, one-of-a-kind places in Austin. Like, literally those restaurants.
Like Torchy's Tacos.
Like Torchy's Tacos, like Hop Dottie, the hamburger place. Or like Michael mentioned, like there was an Alamo Draft House near one of the places I've worked that I think it closed, but so it always, those sort of areas always just feel like, I mean, I guess this is just a value of mine, but it always feels like almost like cookie cutter, like kind of copies of culture from other places. Like not even like, I don't know, calling it culture seems corny because I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a huge Austin fan, but
I kind of want to talk about that for a second. So like,
sure.
The restaurants that have kind of popped up around Montrose, I think you're right. Like a lot of the enticing factor is, it's not like name brand restaurants. I like to call them Instagrammable restaurants. Like where
it
has like a very,
that's its whole own thing too. Yeah,
it's like has like an aesthetic appealing to millennials or people who
you're paying a lot for presentation.
Yeah, and that's so, I'm totally the opposite of that. I'm much more about like, how does the food taste? Like that's pretty much what I'm purchasing in the restaurant, and I just don't. None of that really appeals to me. Like when like some of the restaurants around your area, I'm gonna get crap from somebody that listens to this podcast, but I've been to Ramen Tatsuya like 2 or 3 times, and I really think the only reason people like it is because it looks pretty inside and it plays good
that
music.
Is one of the Austin
Guess what?
places.
That's an Austin transplant.
Yeah.
That's so lame, dude.
I know. I don't like that place. I mean, I don't know. I think
Velvet Taco is very average.
It's okay. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. And I don't know. Those places appeal to me less for sure.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think there's some value in places being lived in and not being kind of constantly turned over for for whatever reason, like having a new trend or following that stuff, and instead that. And I think this comes from this thing we call culture, like that kind of gives another value to, like, this place, like, might not make, as much money as a Torchy's Tacos or something, but the place, the, city or town or whatever values it for another reason. And so it's kept around, or people go there for that reason. And I think that's kind of what I'm saying when I say, like, that if I was going to move to a small town or something like that, it would have to have...
It would have to have some character.
Yeah, something where people value something other than, like, well, yeah, like, I like Torchy's Tacos, so I'm glad it's here. It's like,
yeah,
okay, like...
I could really easily... I don't know. After I went to Texas A&M, I lived in College Station. I guess I should talk about that for a little bit, and I will after I address Stalen's point. Yeah. But I don't know. I think I got sick of College Station. I don't know if I got sick of the small town feel. Maybe I got sick of the college town feel. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. After living there, I think it might have been a much better fit for me than I may have realized. I don't know.
That's interesting.
Because I could move to a city, and if Torchy's Tacos wasn't on the brochure, I could be okay.
Yeah.
I just I don't know. I don't really see the appeal of that sort of thing.
Wait, sorry, which sort of thing?
Like I don't even know what I was trying to say anymore. Like
I'm interested because I feel like the places you named is like possible places you would like to try. Those, to me, those are the places with, like, the Torchy's Taco appeal. Sort of.
What do you mean?
I mean, like, Katy probably has a Torchy's, Sugarland has a Torchy's, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, there are parts of Sugarland that are kind of older and cooler. Not really cool, but, like, more interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know which part of Sugarland you were interested in. Like,
yeah, I guess I was talking more about College Station. Like, I'd much rather
Okay.
I'd much rather live in a neighborhood where there's like an authentic Mexican restaurant that's been there for like 25 years, and like the owner still comes in at like 5 a.m. to hand make the tortillas or something like that. And who cares if they haven't updated the restroom in 10 years or something like that. Like, I'm much more attracted to like the authenticity and I guess, I don't know, the quality of the food.
So you like a sort of a small town authenticity.
Yeah, I guess so. Or just like, I mean, I think authenticity can be found in Houston. Like, a lot of those, like when people say like, oh, let's go eat, and they say, like, I don't think Torchy's Tacos is bad. It's just like, I know exactly what I'm gonna get.
Yeah,
yeah, definitely. I mean, no, I actually the type of thing you're describing is more like what I would look for too.
Yeah, I think like areas, as you get closer to maybe like the metropolitan area in a city like Houston, if you're in Montrose, if you're in downtown, and I'm generalizing a lot. There's probably a lot of great restaurants I haven't eaten at, but like, I don't know, the places that get described to you like by word of mouth, it just always seems to be people are liking the restaurants or the area for the wrong reasons. Like, they're almost sold on the place, if that kind of makes sense. Like, Montrose, there's, I don't know, like 5 juice shops.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I disagree with you here, because I think there are a lot of the kind of places you're describing close to where I live. I don't know.
Okay. I don't live there. I haven't explored that area. I mainly just see what I see driving down Montrose, I guess. And I'm also just bummed out about Ramen Tatsuya.
That place is not that great.
I think that I could do either one now that I think about it. And I think this is usually where my thinking goes, is like, ideally could either be a small town or cityscape. I don't really care as long as it has that, whatever that quality is of like oldness or whatever that is.
I mean, it's 2018. Authenticity is fake. There's no such thing.
I think that's. Or go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, the aesthetic of it still has some value. I mean, like,
I don't think it's fake. What do you mean it's fake?
It's fake. There's no such thing as authenticity in 2018. I don't know. I
think it exists. It just doesn't. It's
even because it's so self-conscious. It's like so.
Sure.
Okay.
I think it still exists. I think what's marketed as authenticity isn't authentic.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I guess. To your point, I don't know. Like, my favorite Mexican food place around where I live is not like the best restaurant. It's definitely not. It doesn't have a sort of aesthetic or anything.
Yeah.
It's this like 24-hour Mexican restaurant.
Yeah.
That just has like pretty good food and like cheap drinks, and they like will give you free coffee or whatever if you're there at certain hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoy. It's like super close to me, and I like having that close by. As far as what I guess I would feel like are more sort of authentic restaurants.
Not even authentic, like just something that's not putting on airs. Not trying to get you in the door with its, I don't know.
Yeah.
Some gimmick.
I guess in my experience, you're more likely to find this sort of hole in the wall authenticity type place in a city center than, I guess I just haven't experienced the small town version of that. I know it's not, I'm almost positive it's not in the suburbs. So I guess is my thing.
Let me talk about College Station for a little bit. So
go for it.
The first 2 years of College Station were pretty miserable living wise. I lived in a dorm on campus. I shouldn't say miserable. I mean, it just wasn't awful. I made it sound.
You can say miserable. Fuck it.
No, it's so over dramatic.
Go for it.
I lived in a dorm, and then I lived in a cheap apartment pretty close to campus. And then our third year, we moved into a home that pretty much had just been built. The property was brand new. It was called the Barracks. It was just like pretty much like all the homes look exactly the same. And it had been, like, the property had probably been bought, like, 2 years before that. The home we were living in was probably, like, a year old. And they were expanding the property. Like, they were building so many more homes. They were building, like, this cool pool where, like, college kids could wakeboard. So, like, when I moved in there, it was in development. And there were maybe, like, 50 homes. And they really didn't, I don't think, leased out many others pretty much that whole year, my junior year of college. Like, they were just constructing, but nobody else was really moving in. So it wasn't populated. There was barely any traffic. It was just like this really quiet, like, paradise from everything else in College Station. Like, I loved living there so much. Dude, like, in our backyard, there was a, like, the lot diagonally to us was like a horse ranch. So there'd be, like, horses out there. This is, like, so typical College Station. But there'd be, like, horses just, like, trotting around whenever I would go out in the backyard and just, like, take a break. And there was this, like, little wooded area that was, like, near like the entranceway to this whole property. Like there was this really nice wooded area that would like reminded me of the woods. I would like the woods and like I don't know, near like a camping spot in Austin. That's probably not that hard to find in Bryan or College Station. I just never really ventured out. But like my roommate and I would like go out there and kind of just explore, I don't know, like on weekends. It was just like really quiet and really nice. And then senior year,
people moved in.
Yeah, people moved into all these homes. Like it was just like a traffic nightmare. There were so many more people. It just became like a really hot spot to live, and it was like, I don't know. It kind of just made me realize of like, okay, maybe. How do I get back to junior year? Like maybe I should look at that as an option for like a permanent residence. Like it was, I don't know, after living in that, I've kind of just started thinking about like ideally I would live in like a 1-story home in like a quiet neighborhood, which I think that's what most people want. And that kind of comes, that's kind of like foundational, like that kind of comes first before like nice restaurants or
I think this is interesting. I feel like our discussion has kind of illustrated the different axes of, you know, things you could want in a place to live. Like you and I both agree that we want sort of the like quote unquote authenticity factor.
Yeah.
And but so we agree on that axis, but on the other hand there's the sort of, you know, dense, more urban area versus closer to nature or closer to you know, solitude type axes where I think we're sort of on different ends, at least as far as the place I live right now, because honestly I agree with you in Stanlin. Like, besides, I would rather live, you know, my ideal environment is big city, and then second is extremely small city where everything is like, you know, local, blah blah blah.
Yeah. See, my ideal environment would be like medium / developing city, which is pretty much somewhere like Katy or the Woodlands, and even that's like,
I don't think it is, man. That's I guess that's my disagreement. I don't think that's true, because I think what's built there is, first of all, big 2-story homes, and it's also mostly like families, and there's not
I guess
you're not going to get that forest or the horse ranch. You're going to get bulldozed.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, developments. I don't know.
I guess
in my experience,
I mean, that's at least how Sugarland's a very strange place, because it has that feel of like kind of openness, a lot of space, a lot of like solitude kind of. It's relatively quiet, but
all the turtles.
All the turtles. But it's all it's just that stuff exists, but I think it has to exist in kind of the motive of the city. Like, the motive of the Sugarland city isn't like, oh, like this is going to be like, you know, this ranchy kind of place. It's more like, oh, we're going to build a bunch of like strip malls and like
this hasn't been sold to a developer yet.
Exactly.
I guess somewhere like on the cusp before it gets like 5 years out before like the developmental storm comes through and it just becomes shit town.
Well, that's not an inevitability.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I don't have firsthand experience of the other you know, end of the spectrum from what I've described. Like, I don't have firsthand experience of small town living. I feel like most of it I've gotten vicariously from media, from, you know, like the more idyllic parts of like Twin Peaks, even though obviously the whole story is about how awful that sort of environment can be.
Yeah.
Or just like, you know, it's a major subject in all of Phil Elverum's music, especially under Mount Erie, is, you know, the place he lives and the kind of lifestyle that it allows him to lead to be in this, you know, small.
Yeah, there was actually an interview with him that it was interesting. He was talking about where he lived, and he was like doing some like political action to like preserve, because like a bunch of like developers were like trying to bring like you know, chain stuff to the place, and they like.
Right.
He was doing political action, but anyway, he was saying he liked where he lived because it wasn't exactly ideal. Like it was like there was like a factory, like you know, blowing smoke in the air, or like
there's a military base. He talks about this in a couple interviews that I've heard.
Okay.
Where there's this like Air Force base or something close by where there's just like these like blaring jet planes flying by at random times of day.
Yeah, and it's also very close to the city. He said that he liked that too. So yeah, so it's not like the Twin Peaks like completely, you know, isolated.
That's true.
World, but
I think Twin Peaks is a reality for some places.
Yeah,
all its unfortunate.
But I don't know if any of the ideal parts like of Twin Peaks exist in those. Maybe they do.
But like, I don't know if College Station is comparable to Twin Peaks. And I've absolutely been to small towns where I've been like, who in their right mind could live here?
I mean, to be rude, that's what I thought every time I went to College Station.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just saying this is like a college student that lived in a college town.
I see what you mean.
We did find excellent restaurants to eat at. We found there were breweries there. One of the best sushi restaurants I've ever eaten at I've ever eaten at has been in College Station. There was good barbecue. There were good steakhouses. I mean, a Torchy's Taco was billed there maybe like senior year of college, and I wasn't even necessarily that excited about it. But there were also just like ponds and certain wooded areas that I really wish I explored. Like I never went to Lake Bryan. I never went to I don't know. I never really went on any of the trails, and I can see the appeal with like low cost of living, and I don't know, like the quietness, and I guess like just like the slowed down pace of a type of place. Like that'd be a really nice place to grow a family.
Mm-hmm.
Like sure, yeah.
Brian, I don't know.
Grow a family.
That was
budding like sponges.
Grow a family. Anyways, so we're over an hour.
Yeah, this is our longest cast yet, folks.
Actually, I kind of want to. There was something one of y'all said a little while back about. Actually, I can't remember it.
I'll also just say that part of living where I live, which is kind of in between city and school, has taught me that part of it is a mindset where you can get into the mindset where you're like, I live here, this place sucks, I'm not gonna leave. You know, that's kind of my old mindset where I was just like, I just like sunk into it. I was just like, this sucks. But you can drive. You don't have to sit in the place that you live in.
Yeah,
definitely.
As long as it satisfies the essentials. Just kind of, I don't know. It seems like my conclusion is I don't really know where I want to live.
Say again,
yeah,
sorry.
You cut out.
You cut out for us.
It seems like the conclusion for myself is I don't know where I want to live.
Oh, yeah.
Hey.
You gotta try a bunch of places. Then
Yeah.
you figure it out.
That's true.
You got to try things out.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Who's got some recommendations for this week?
Ooh. I haven't thought about this. Have you guys?
Nope.
I do.
Go for it.
Got some recommendations.
Fire away.
So I don't know how long ago it was, maybe like a month or a month and a half. I deleted all of my social media.
Oh.
not even deactivated. I just flat out deleted pretty much all of my accounts. I got rid of Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Tinder. And
I don't think we've talked about this necessarily.
yeah, I don't. Maybe
Not
we
this
can
time, at least.
talk about that on the next cast in more detail. But I have to say, it's way healthier. I really feel like I haven't missed out on anything, or I don't know, the losing all of the anxiety that comes with social media, and also the massive time sink and just information overload that comes with it. I have a decently obsessive personality, so stuff like that it's really easy for me to just get invested in it and waste a lot of time. So now that I pretty much don't have the option to use it at all, it's awesome. And like, or the positive of I don't know, taking away that anxiety has been. It's a great trade for the negative of maybe like missing out on like a Facebook event or
Dude, here's the trick.
An Instagram advertisement.
There are no Facebook events anymore.
I still get
Everyone
invited
out
to
there-
stuff.
Oh,
But
Well,
do you
like,
go to
everyone
Ashton?
I've talked to is very firmly moved to word of mouth.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this out there, it's okay to delete your Facebook. You won't. Nothing important will happen on there anymore.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
I mean, on top of the fucking, I don't know. There was a sort of a social media apocalypse this week. I feel like as Tumblr has taken its final blow.
What happened?
Well, they're banning pornographic images.
Yeah.
That's like 90%
any-
of Tumblr.
As far as I have heard, yeah. I mean, that's not what I use it for, but it's everyone on there is treating it like the website is dead. Basically any reference to sexuality is just getting banned.
Yeah,
Also,
there was
they're
a
running-
funny Twitter post about that where someone was just like posting all the like neo-Nazi like
Right.
things that are just up still. They're like not.
Well, it's not sexual.
Yeah, it's fucking
Overtly,
idiotic.
at least. Yeah, it's fucking stupid. I mean, the whole, what was the name of it? SESTA, whatever it was?
I don't know what that is.
That bill that passed to, like, ban, essentially websites aiding sex workers has essentially made it so that social media can't function.
Yikes.
It's bad.
So
Facebook put up all these rules about how you can't talk about sexuality at all on Facebook anymore.
You
So
can't
what-
talk about sexuality.
are cam girls?
Basically.
I don't even mean this
What the fuck?
an offense to anybody. I don't know anything about this.
Uh-huh.
Are cam girls considered sex workers?
Yes.
Okay.
I would say so.
So I guess
but
they're banned from
that's-
those
And cam
social
guys.
media outlets. Cam guys can't. yeah.
you can't advertise on it. Yeah, I would say.
Okay. Wow.
That is, I don't
That
understand.
sucks.
I don't.
It's not
understand
good.
that.
It legitimately has made it more dangerous. You know, it hasn't deterred anyone from sex work, and it has made it a lot more dangerous to do so. So it's been pretty bad overall.
So how did sex workers use social media?
I mean, not just social media, but, you know, there were apps and such that they used to be able to use to find clients and, like, vet clients that they
Okay.
can't use anymore. And they're, you know, it's
It just
a lot of
pushes them
have
into
had
the
to go back to the
underground.
old days
Yeah.
of, like, you know, getting on the street, and that's
Yeah, that's
totally unsafe. So,
Yeah,
way worse.
it's well,
What the fuck?
that's
how did we
horrible.
get here?
I don't know.
Anyway, delete
talking
social
about-
delete
media.
social media.
Yeah, just it's
Find Discord. You know,
yeah.
until
Make a
that goes
Discord
bad.
with your like 10 best friends, and you're pretty much set.
Twitter still doesn't have all the crazy rules yet. Probably will soon. Mastodon.
shit.
I don't know how that shit works. I haven't tried it.
Twitter's fine.
Yeah, it is for now.
I
Just
do.
limit. You know, you got to do self discipline, like Michael was talking about with the other apps. But
I I use Twitter basically like an 8-year-old would, and it's just funny stuff all the time.
Boom.
I use it maybe like 20 minutes a day.
That's the way to do it.
I have another recommendation.
Hit me.
So, I've kind of been experimenting with things, or just like relaxation.
Ganja.
It's
So
canon.
just getting rid of things that are unhealthy. Social media was one of them, and I was also thinking about just like the music I was listening to. So I think anger can really, begets anger. And I like angry music. I like a lot of like loud, intense music, and I've been really experimenting with just not listening to any of that.
So you moved to Christian music.
Yeah, I'm purely
Closer to God.
it's just Christian rave music. Anyways, I feel like I've been a lot calmer lately.
That's good. I mean, I kind of have stopped. Well, yeah. I guess I've stopped listening to the stuff I used to listen to in college, but that was a while ago. The stuff I used to listen to in college was more angry.
Like Death Grips.
Yeah, like Death Grips and other like hardcore, whatever stuff.
It changes you. Like, it really does. It affects your mood. I thought that was always just like old people logic, or just...
I'm not sure I'm bought in personally, but
I don't know. I've
maybe it's just me. I don't know.
cut it out the last few weeks.
I mean, I still listen to like black metal and stuff, but I feel like that's not really angry.
It's more of a
It's like
massage.
Yeah, it's like an ear massage.
Yeah.
It's more of a massage than an assault, despite its reputation as being the latter.
I guess doom metal or like really violent SoundCloud rap probably is a little different.
I mean, I think, yeah. I guess, yeah, I don't know. I still listen to loud stuff, but I think it's just that I just don't listen to stuff that is... I mean, I just think it's bad sometimes. Like, really violent music that is trying to be, like, incendiary for incendiary's sake. I think it's fun to listen to in college, but, like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm very overly generalizing whatever that is. You know, whatever.
Yeah. I think it has its purpose. It can be really fun. And I'm not being some person who's like, oh, these kids with their angry music. I just think I'm kind of growing out of it. I don't know.
Boom.
Hey, you gotta grow.
What have you been listening? Give us an artist. Who have you been listening to recently? Just name one off the top of the head.
Oh, man.
Off Dome.
None of
Creed.
them.
Michael's been listening to Collective Soul.
When I go to the gym, I just put in this playlist called Emotional EDM.
Boom. Whoa.
And it's just been really relaxing.
Do you think you're better off alone?
It's been really nice. It's what you need to...
Getting in touch with the feeling.
Music that makes you want to jog.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Stalen, do you ever recommend?
No. God,
Okay,
nothing.
stay
Well,
with
wait,
you.
actually I do.
Taking it back.
Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
Hey, damn! I watched that too,
It was-
but I don't know if we have time to discuss it, and I don't think Michael's seen it.
It was good.
No, I want to
I
see it.
recommend it.
I for some reason didn't think it was going to be this, but very depressing movie.
Yes. I also didn't think... I thought... Yeah, I didn't think that it was going to be that either. But
The first segment, the one called "The Ballad of Buster Scruggs," really wrong foots you for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, I was
It
like,
is
this doesn't...
Completely, totally different from basically the rest of the.
It
whole
didn't even
thing.
feel like a Coen Brothers movie. that first part, I was like, this is like
It felt,
really
yeah. It
light.
was more like the fucking like Hail Caesar tone or something.
I did not see that, but yeah, it's that's not what the rest of the movie is. But it's
I'll
very
check it
good.
out.
It's very good.
I'll check it out.
And I was gonna say to watch that. But no, I don't. No, just kidding. Well, no, not kidding.
Think that's
Don't have anything. Watch Neon Genesis Evangelion when it comes out.
Oh, I was gonna say that. Yeah.
in like 6 months or whatever.
Ava's coming to Netflix. Netflix owns it.
Here's something
crazy.
I'll say. Yeah, that's gonna be good.
Netflix owns Eva?
If you haven't seen this anime, if you have any interest in it, but you think, oh, I already know what this is. I've seen all the GIFs. I've heard all the things people talk about that show are like 1% of the show. Have you ever seen a picture of Kaji online? I haven't. And he's like one of the main characters of the show, almost.
Yeah. What do people really talk about?
The fandom really brushes over a lot of the content of that show. And the discussion is often hyperbolic and wrong. So I would say if you like anime, watch that show with an open heart and open mind, and maybe you'll find something you like.
Hey,
or maybe you'll find something you'll hate. But any elicitation of emotion is more than you'll get from the average.
If you don't like anime, give this show a try, because
actually that's fair, because I don't watch anime. And
pretty much just a good show.
Yeah.
Wes Anderson's #1 pick for what he would bring on DVD to a desert island. Not a joke.
Interesting.
It's a good show.
All right, guys. I think that's all we got this week.
Yeah.
All right.
Here, I'm going to close this out with one more oblique strategy for everyone to follow in the coming days and weeks, and that is work at a different speed. And if I can add a personal addition to that, work slow. Just fuck it up. Work slow.
Don't work at all.
Stretch it out.
Kind of like a slinky.
Boom. It comes back. Oh, wait, that's a yo-yo. Anyway.
I think a slinky does.
Again, write in it.
Oh, yes. Write us an email at mindmode@gmail.com.
Mindmodepodcast@gmail.com.
Oh, shit.
It's okay. Someone took Mind Mode.
What? Wait, was it us? Was it us?
No.
Okay.
No.
So, see ya later.
Bye.
Woo! What happened? We were so good, and then we started recording, and all of a sudden it was like ice picks.